Hey, what's up you guys? Him here, and today I'm going to give you yet again another top 10 list. This time from a country that no one talks about when it comes to music. South Korea. Really, I should really just call it top 10 Korean black metal bands because there's nothing out of North Korea, as we all know. So South Korea is really the only option if you're going to talk about that. So this is the top 10 Korean black metal bands. Now, the reason why I'm doing a list for this is because, let's be honest, when we all talk about black metal, alright, 95% of the time, no exaggeration, it's something from Europe. It's a European country black metal band, 95% of the time. The other 5% is when we rarely talk about United States or Canada black metal bands. That's on rare occasions, and a few from like Mexico, a few from South America, and whatnot. But we rarely or hardly ever talk about Asian black metal bands. And South Korea has not that much in general, but they do have some really good black metal bands from around that country that I'm going to talk about to you guys. I had a lot of fun doing this list because all 10 I had no clue they were, so hopefully you discover 10 new bands from this list because that's the main goal of this whole top 10 list thing. So anyway, let's get this underway. The first one is called Svedhous, and just a heads up guys, I'm going to pronounce probably nearly half of these wrong, so I apologize. Just it's Him. Come on, I suck at doing this. But anyway, number 10 is Svedhous. Again, like, you know, it's a regular black metal band. It was really difficult for me to find anything by them. Really, when you gotta search up these bands, you gotta put the name and then black metal right next to it, or you're gonna get some really weird stuff that has nothing to do with music. Svedhous is just a really kind of, you know, your typical run-of-the-mill black metal band that is pretty solid. I'm not going to say they're boring, or they are pretty good, but they're only 10 because nothing really just stood out to me with them. But they're still a band you should check out if you are just curious. So check them out. Next is Madmans, all one word, Esprit, I believe. Yeah, Spirit. This is a gothic black metal band that I'm really not too big of a fan on, just because of the fact that those gothic elements come into play and kind of makes it more about, you know, wanting to have sex with people, because that's really what the lyrics are about, than just really having that, you know, blasphemous, evil sound that we're used to with black metal. So take caution if you're curious to check out these guys, because I really can't guarantee that you'll enjoy this band. But, you know, like I said, the list for black metal bands in South Korea is really small, and this is the only thing I could find was Madmans Esprit. So if you're in the mood for something a little different for black metal, check them out, but I don't really recommend it compared to the other 8 now I'm going to talk about. So now, number 8 is Svedhous, I believe. And this is a depressing suicidal black metal band, one-man project, I believe, like most depressing suicidal black metal bands. That if I were to recommend anything by this guy, it'd be his demos. As weird as that sounds, because usually I would recommend, you know, an EP or a full length. But something about his demos are perfect. I think it's really because of the low quality of the demos that just fits in with the whole mood he's trying to create with his music. So really, if you want to give this guy a listen, check out his demos. I can't recommend that enough if you want to get into this. If you love depressing suicidal black metal, add this to your chart for another great band in your list. So check them out. Next, number 7 is Infinite Hatred. This is raw black metal that really is nothing fancy about it. It's really dirty and grimy and ugly sounding. And, you know, if you're just a fan of that European style of, like, raw black metal, this will fit right in with your likeness. Sadly, I believe they only made, like, one album, which is called Hateful Spell. But this is really solid raw black metal. It's nothing fancy. It's straight up, just nasty sounding black metal that I feel like any big black metal fan can really dig it really dig the moment they listen to it. So give them a listen. Number 6 is Dark Mirror of OV Tragedy. And this is a synth black metal mixed with goth, mixed with death metal. They're kind of all over the place, but for the most part, the synth black metal really stands out with this band, and that's what I really enjoy about them. And that's saying a lot, considering I'm not a big fan of synth metal in general, and I really don't care for synth black metal, but these guys really balance out synth black metal to really to its full potential, in my opinion, because really when it comes to synth black metal, we have all these unnecessary choruses and all these other unnecessary instruments in the way that really take away the aggression. But with these guys, they have a more laid-back tune to them, which really makes the symphonic elements really stand out, while still giving it that really, black metal evil sound to them that I really do enjoy a lot. Funny enough, I feel like a lot of fans that are into Dimmu Borgir or Cradle of Filth would dig these guys immediately. I know I really don't talk highly of those two bands, but even if you don't care for Cradle of Filth or Dimmu Borgir, I still feel like you'll enjoy these guys a little bit. These guys are really good. Out of everyone I'm going to talk about, these guys have the biggest discography. But overall, this is really great stuff that, I'm kind of a sucker for it because they do have a violinist in it, so, that's kind of why they're pretty high up on this list. But great stuff, so definitely give it a listen if you're really in the mood for symphonic black metal, because I feel like you'll dig this immediately. Next up is Sad Legend, and this is a melodic black metal band that just has some really kick-ass riffs, really evil-sounding vocals, that's really grimy-sounding, not over-polished like most melodic extreme bands are, and it's just really good. They've only made 2 albums, but they're self-titled. I would definitely recommend the most out of the 2. Just really good grimy black metal that has melodic, catchy riffs. It's really straightforward, but it's just really damn good. So definitely give them a listen. Sad Legend. That's number 5. Number 4 is Oathean. And this is, again, is another melodic black metal band. What I've really noticed with South Korea so far, they really have some kick-ass melodic black metal. If you are just a fan of melodic black metal like Dissection, Rotting Christ, shit, I kind of lost my train of thought for a minute of other melodic black metal bands. But if you're a fan like those 2 bands, I feel like you will dig really a majority of melodic black metal from South Korea. And this is another prime example of why you should really get into it. Oathean is really just another kick-ass melodic black metal band that just has some really outstanding riffs that are really catchy. They really stick in your head just because of how catchy they are. And I feel like any album by them is great, especially the album The Eyes of Tremendous Sorrow, their debut. Can't recommend that enough out of their whole discography. So definitely give them a listen right away. Next, number 3 is another melodic black metal band called Sunoi, S-U-N-O-I. Again, like I said, another melodic black metal band that, once again, just like what I've been talking about for the previous 2, it's just another kick-ass melodic black metal band that, once again, the riffs are tremendous. Vocals, once again, really have that nasty black metal sound to them. Overall it has a pretty good production. It's nothing too polished, but nothing too extremely dirty. But overall, just again, if you really like Dissection, Rotting Christ, give these guys a listen. Next, number 2 is I believe it's pronounced Kalpa. K-A-L-P-A. This is a raw black metal band that sadly isn't around anymore, which sucks, because number 2 and number 1 both aren't around anymore, which really sucks, because I really don't like talking about bands that aren't around anymore, because, it's like, hey, go listen to them even though they're not around. But still, it's just so worth the mention, so high up on the list, because it's just really nasty, dirty, grimy black metal that has that really rough quality to it. Like, if you're a big fan of Darkthrone or Burzum, you'll easily dig this immediately. Riffs are very haunting, but yet still very pummeling throughout. Drum work is really solid. Everything about this band is very solid. It's just a shame they're not around anymore. But they've only made one album, which is The Path of Eternal Years. Definitely give it a listen if you're in the mood for something like Dark Throne. So definitely give that a listen. And number one, like I said, isn't around anymore, but after discovering this through making this list, I would honestly buy something off this project if I can find it, which I doubt. But this band is called Qrujhuk. It's Qrujhuk. This is a raw black metal band done right. Just like everything you want in raw black metal. Dirty production, haunting and nasty sounding vocals, pummeling drums, really distorted guitars. It has everything that you want in raw black metal. Very well executed. Sadly, he's only made one album, which is called Triumph of the Glorious Blasphemy. The song titles on it are awesome, like Poser, Killer in Hell, or something like that. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's really tremendous stuff. Like, just trust me, guys. If you're really a big fan of raw black metal, this is perfect. If you're really interested in checking out South Korean raw black metal, because this is, in my opinion, top notch in that country. So definitely give it a listen if you're in the mood for stuff like that. And yeah, guys, that's it. That's my top 10 South Korean black metal bands. I felt like doing something a little different, not always talking about the same European bands that I've been talking about mostly throughout this channel. I wanted to give something a little different, so I'm just really interested if you thought this was really worth it or just a waste of time. So definitely check out all 10, and come back and comment below what you thought of them. Love hearing your opinions. We'll comment back to yours as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, liking, supporting, and subscribing. You guys are the fucking best, and keep it metal.